What's poppin'? What happening? Can y'all hear me good? Can you hear me good out there? Let me see. I gotta check my sound because I'm the only one here today. See how it sounds. See how it sounds. Hold on, y'all. Be patient. Be patient, man. Okay, I sound pretty decent. How y'all doing? How y'all doing out there? Today is a special little episode. I actually did this, I want to say mid-year, where I did a 2020 Decoded with my cipher class, and it went very well. I was excited about it. So, um, took a little time for me to say, do I really want to get into this? Do I really want to do this? Because you begin to deal or dab in people's beliefs. Um, or what side that they stand from. And so it took a little time. It took a little coaxing from a few people that I know, and I said, all right, let's go ahead. It's the end of the year. I literally had these PowerPoints the last year to the beginning of this year just to see how on point I would be as far as decoding 2020. So again, welcome to SoulFilled Sunday podcast. I am broadcasting by myself for the first time. Y'all send some love and healing vibes to my wife. Getting over a little tooth abscess, but it's doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good. So let's get it popping. Before I do anything, check out the gear. All right, I want you guys to go ahead and support blacklifeapparel.com. I don't know if you can see that, but make sure you head over there and check out some of that gear they got. Also, Top Notch Slave. It's a young man, young king that has his own little clothing line and he does music. So make sure you guys jump into that. I'm excited. Hopefully, my moderator is there. Moderator, if you're there, say hey. I bet. So, anytime I need a little help with some typing and stuff, she's gonna do that for me. So let's jump into it. Um, it is blacklifeapparel.com. All right, and this is the Black Life hat with the pick. I've actually had this joint for a second, but you always gotta support. So jumping into this, I just to give a little bit of backstory, I have been doing decodeds or digging into information, trying to get the more in depth or the more esoteric or what the psyop or what the actual ritual or whatever that might be taking place on the outside of this. And so my position in doing this particular piece is to go into some more of like the numerical aspects of 2020, why we're seeing so many different things, how it's been so easy for certain things to take place. We've had a lot of firsts, but anyone that's familiar with their numbering system or their numerology will know that 2020 breaks down to the number four, right? And so yeah. So, two uh is a very feminine number, and because of that, um, we're seeing a lot of divine feminine things take place. Okay, that's the best way that I can say that. So where I'm gonna start is basically going into giving a little back uh information on what kind of needs to be known. Let me take these out my ear because sounds like my sound sounds good. So the first point that I definitely want to focus on that is a center of self is understanding the different what are known as the chakras. And the first thing that we were seeing a lot, or on the spiritual aspect of things, we were seeing moving people being able to move from the foundational metal body, which is basically the lower three chakras, and moving into the next portion of the fourth and fifth. Okay, so this is where you get like all of the um, dimensional information, I'll say it like that, are going from 4G to 5G in an external environment. Okay, so I just want to make sure that that's understood. That's of an external environment that you are seeing a play uh, in reality of what's going on a more spiritual or a more esoteric type of playground, right? So like I said, I had did a class, a cipher class, where I was like, okay, it's time to go ahead and jump into this information of decoding 2020 at the beginning of the year. And going back and looking, it seems that I was pretty on point. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and do this for the people. So again, when we start with the fourth chakra, again, if you're breaking down 2022 and 0 are both highly feminine numbers. And of course, again, having the 2 and the 0 together give you a double feminine energy. Okay. Let me pull up my little PowerPoint so I can get my information. All right, so two is the most feminine, and 0 represents the all, the nothing, or the womb, which is why we're seeing a return of what is considered divine feminine. You're seeing a lot of women that are getting into power and getting positions of power, and that are starting businesses and becoming more entrepreneurial, and are standing in that energy of being on that divine feminine aspect. And again, this is in an external form, and I want to make sure that I keep reiterating that, because every individual has both masculine and feminine energy. However, we are seeing a surge of divine feminine energy, because we are in the 2020 formation, right? So a lot of things that have been going on this year, and I've seen, and seeing it at the end of the year, has definitely made sense. Either you were on a high frequency or a low frequency, right? And that high frequency, you were constantly getting confirmations you're on the right path, you're being guided each step of the way, and you let go of a lot of weaknesses to gain new strengths. um, and you were urged to trust your instinct and let go of fear. So even on seeing my feed and those that were getting on a higher vibrational level, I was seeing this. I'm like, yo, everybody is starting to operate within their higher frequency. And you saw a little bit of the low frequency where it was being overly sensitive, okay, intuitive and vulnerable to criticism. And we've seen a lot of that in 2020. Like, have we not? If you take this stance here, then this person that's taking this stance comes and like, well, you're doing too much. This is what it is. And so it kind of became either you're this or you're that. People were easily distracted, and it was a very passive aggressive year for those that were operating more so on a lower frequency. Now let me be very clear when I say this: high frequency and low frequency doesn't make one better than the other. It's just according to experience. Okay, wherever you are within yourself and within your understanding, you're going to vibrate on that specific frequency. It doesn't mean because a person is on a high frequency, they're better than you. They've just gone through the reconditioning to be able to operate on the higher point, but it's still within the same frequency, if that makes sense. So, again, we did see a lot of high frequency and low frequency that was taking place. And also, if we look at the tarot and the major arcana, we can definitely see that the card of 20 is the judgment card, okay? And judgment is XX, which is Roman numeral XX, which represents divine. It represents feminine DNA. Excuse me. Um, Women have an XX chromosome, so you have the 20, you have the card of judgment, and it's DNA. So everything is aligning with this divine feminine energy. I can't make this stuff up. I promise you. You can go look it up yourself. You'll see the information. It's all there. Okay. I've been doing the research. So basically the meaning of the judgment is the card is referred to as a time of resurrection and awakening, and a time and period of our life when we come to an absolute end. Okay, and making a way for dynamic new beginnings. It is in the upright position. It's known as decision making, transition, renewal, redemption, awakening, reincarnation. Okay, in the reverse is stagnation, self doubt, poor logic, poor and hasty judgment. So it's the same thing within the high frequency and the low frequency. It's the same thing when you come into the tarot, and like I said, the card in the major arcana, the card of judgment, which again is the XX, which is representative of the female DNA. So 2020 has been all about the empowerment of divine femininity. Um, and again, both genders of male and female have both masculine and feminine energy. So I just want to keep making sure that I reiterate that. Um, yes, I will be doing classes. I've been doing classes for a minute. Anybody that's taking the classes, let me know if you're interested, because we're definitely going to get these back started at the jump of 2021. I've already been jumping into doing my assignments. So let me just go a little further, breaking down the zero and the two when it comes to 2020 being decoded. So, zero is representative of the primordial void, or the womb. Okay, it's the realm of potential. Zero is a circle that symbolizes totality, that which precedes life, the eternal force, and it is nothing and everything, right? So something that is no thing and everything is creative energy. So if you've been paying attention, or if you've been on your square or in your understanding, you've been able to reach into this particular energy and manifest things within your life. You've been able to get your businesses off the ground. You've been able to move away from relationships that may not have been so solid. And I know I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people that have really leveled up this year, when it comes to, again, being in that zero energy, or that all or that nothing energy, right? Um, so as I said before, two is the most feminine number of all numbers. Okay, especially when it comes to power and strength. We can look and see this even in politics, that a lot of women are beginning to become steadfast in different positions, and you're seeing a lot of first and a lot of this and a lot of that. Well, why? Because the number two is gentle, it's tactful, it's diplomatic, it's forgiving, and it's understanding. And they certainly like to keep the peace and avoid confrontation as much as possible, but they are about that life as well. Don't get it twisted. So when we get into two being the number of duality, it's the split, and we perceive the difference between light and darkness, the yin and the yang, right? Inside, outside, masculine, feminine, good and bad, life and death, mind and heart, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So when it comes to the two, this is where we again get duality, and where we get balance, and where we get harmony. And the number two can also be destructive, as I just stated. So if you look at the shape of the number two, you'll recognize that it's symbolized, of the ultimate survivor. Okay, it is the extreme resilience of force. Okay, her shape is almost as if she's bent on a knee, and her head and back are bowed in humility or servitude, which would make her easy to dismiss, or to look past and be perceived as weak or powerless. But it's actually the total opposite, because if you put something on top of that too, it's not going to crumble, right? My bad for clapping loud. But if you do that on a number one, and you put a stack of weight on it, it's going to break and shatter, right? And it's using a little bit of your imagination with what I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure y'all can follow me, because one is a very masculine number, and when you see one, it's stoic. You know what I mean? It's fixed, it's straight, it's erect. However, something can come down on an erect object, whereas a two has buoyancy, and it's going to be able to bounce back from whatever is being done. So I hope this is making sense. And it's coming across the way that I want to. Because I know I start to talking fast when I get into this, because I be excited and I'm like, ah. All right. So with that being said, again, because 2020 is considered a very highly feminine year, and it is the year of judgment, you have. I actually said this to my partner. I was like, well, you know what? You're gonna have a female in office. It has to be. And when you look at the breakdown, I implore everybody. There's a site that's called Cafe Astrology where you can look up birth natal charts. Anybody's, as long as you have the name, date, and the time of birth. It's always good to have the time of birth because you can get the ascendant chart, and you always want the ascendant chart because that is what the external representation of that person is, as well as the internal, and you get the 12 houses. So, at any rate, because I'm a fucking nerd, I had decided to go ahead and do birth natal charts on the president elect and the vice president elect, and I've done them on Trump, and I'm always doing it on people that begin to show like a position of power. They're beginning to get a little bit more into the limelight, and I'll do the same thing with their names of doing the name breakdown um with their numerology and things like that, and also do a breakdown of the etymology of their name, which brings me, I'm not really going to focus on Joe too much because that's the masculine energy in this, and I definitely want to focus on Kamala and why we're so attracted to her, why we're being drawn, and why she can definitely say she's a black woman, because her name literally means black, right? I implore you, you can look up this information yourself. You can look on Edomon online um, and find all of this. So I'm waiting for my thing to pop up here. But when you do a breakdown of Kamala Devi Harris, Devi is another name for Kali. Kali is a Hindu goddess. Um, if you remember, just right before we got into election season, you seen Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion do a song, that the WAP song, right? And regardless of how you looked at this, it was definitely a representation of the divine mother whore. And that energy and synergy is not always wrong, but it can be perverted when seen externalized. And I'm hoping that makes sense. If you got questions, post them and I'll answer them. So, anyways, as it comes down to it, when you break down Kamala Devi, and her middle name literally is Devi, which again is uh another name for the goddess Kali, right? And so Kali is the Hindu mother goddess. Okay, so we're still, remember that we're focusing on divine feminine energy, and this is not to persecute, this is not to demonize. And if you understand the systems of information, then you'll know why all of this is able to take place and how it all aligns. So let me jump back into it. So Devi, the Hindu mother goddess, and is in her black skin death aspect. Okay, Kali literally means the black one. The feminine of that is Kala, right? And that means black, blue, black, black. And it's a word that comes from Dravidian language. And it also is taken from the feminine Kala, all right, which means time as destroyer. Okay, when we hear destroyer, it's the same thing as judgment, which is why 20 represents judgment or destruction, and all of these different things. Also, the mal aspect of the name means bad, evil, wrong, wrongdoing, so on and so forth. And the feminine version of that is mala. Now, you also have, with everything, there's duality, because with the mala, it is also meditation beads, and it's consisting of either 108 or 109 beads that are used for affirmational purposes. So again, we're still in the divine feminine aspect because the beads are the circles or the all or the nothing, and it helps to keep preservation of wisdom alive, right? All right, so moving forward, the Ka part is, when we look at ancient Egyptian understanding, the Ka is known as the life force or the spirit, right? And it's also known in Old English as the prostitute or the harlot. So the reason why I'm saying this is why you can have a song like WAP be so fucking successful, because you're ushering in the energy of the divine mother goddess, or that harlot, that prostitute, the divine whore. You're ushering in all of this energy. It has to be a balance. It has to be that duality that comes in. So as we see this and we look at who Kali is, who Kamala is, we've heard about, oh, well, she's had affairs and this and that. And again, this is not throwing her under the bus. This is showing you the energy of this specific being. She doesn't have children, yet she loves children, right? And when you look further into even the last name of Harris, it comes from Harry, which is, it means to be in a high place, right? And Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, you make your own connections. Pennsylvania was one of the top states that were up for, basically you were waiting for the ballots or the energy to come in from that was being usurped. And of course, you have Biden that was born and raised in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So all of these things align and they come into place. If you look up Kamala's birth natal chart, you will see in her chart who she is, and you definitely see projections of this and the type of individual that she is. When it talks about the sexual energy that she puts out, how she's a leader, she's very moving. And the speech that she did was in the season of Scorpio, right? You have to understand that speech had to take place at that specific time while in the season of Scorpio, because if you look at her chart, her Mercury or her communication is in Scorpio, and she has the ability to be very moving, very thought provoking, and implement a lot of her feelings into what she's saying. And I'm not saying that she doesn't mean what she says, but this is a part of who she is, and it's a part of that whole divine feminine energy. Let me take a sip. I feel like I'm just talking. All right. Okay, so with that being said, like I said, I highly advise going and looking into the numbers of the 2 and 0, how it balances on the 4, um, and to give a little bit more of even what's going on in the aspect of moving into the 5 or the phi, um, or the fire aspect of ourselves or this particular world. We're going into a more ether like state, right? And then when you go into a more ether like state, you have to beware of what's called the monkey mind, and I hope I'm not like going above myself or whatever. So basically, when you have the whole aspect of the phi or the 5, I like to correlate that with the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra, and it regulates self-expression in all senses, and it influences how you authentically convey the deepest part of yourself to the world. Um, when we look at what's going on in 2020, it has a lot to do with respiratory. We're in the age of Aquarius, or the water bearer, or the information bringer, or the unveiling. And when there's an unveiling and you're made to mandate to put a mask on, you're recovering or reveiling this specific portion of yourself. So you're having issues communicating. Now this may seem like, oh, you that's low hanging fruit. You're kind of pulling with that, but no, it's real talk when you understand what the fifth chakra represents. Okay, it's your directions, it's your emotional honesty, and being able to get into greater creative pursuits. So if I covered, if my throat, if you're choking me, or you're stopping me from being able to breathe, then I can't move forward, or I'm not gonna be living. Life is air, right? So what you will see when you're going into the 5 or the 5 energy, and why I keep bringing in Kamala is because her life number, she is a 5. You have 5G, you have this 5 energy that's coming in, and her ascendant is on a Gemini, so she's coming in the office after a Gemini. Again, can't make this shit up. You can look it up yourself, right? So again, when it comes down to it, when you're on the low aspect of that, you're going to see a lot of interrupting, a lot of gossip, a lot of telling lies, the inability to keep secrets. It's the physical body begins to um, show sore throat and stiffness in the neck and jaw, and then you're having issues with respiratory and all of these different things, which is also the fourth, which is the heart, which gets you even up to the fifth, sixth, and seventh chakra, right? So with that being said, on the opposite or on the lower realm of that, when you seen what was supposed to be the debates, you seen a lot of interrupting, because this is the lower frequency, or this is how you can tell that a throat chakra or a fifth chakra is unaligned, right? And when we looked at Kamala again, who comes in with the energy of Kali, from her first name to her middle name to all, she is coming in as the time destroyer, or to the making of a difference. And again, this is not to come off as it being negative, but I'm trying to give you the breakdown on the spiritual aspect of basically what's going on. So when you hear her speak, it's she's able to accurately and clearly say what it is that she feels. She has a great demure. She's able to stand up for herself, and we saw that in a debate, right, where she's like, yo, I'm talking. So she's obviously able to have a level of communication. And again, check out this woman's birth natal chart. She is natural with that. She is naturally able to gravitate people with the way that she speaks, and that's not a kick against her. Again, I'm not saying any of this to be like be one over the other. Okay, it's just to give you information to go forward and do your own research. All right, so um, the thing about the uh, throat chakra is about peaceful communication. Okay, so with the fifth chakra and with 5G, we know 5G is all about communications. It's all about the servers and being able to have higher speeds of data, higher speeds of communication. And there are different gemstones that align with that. You have aquamarine, you have sodalite, you have turquoise, amazonite, and you have bergamot. Essential oils that go with that are bergamot, spearmint, cypress, sandalwood, and all of these different things that are for clearing and cleansing and being able to express and communicate on a clearer level. Let me see where we at. Where we at? I think it might be time to pay some bills. Time to pay some bills. All right. I'm gonna play some bills real quick and kind of pause, because I feel like I'm giving a lot at once, and I try to do all of this in an hour. Again, I am starting back up my cipher classes. If you are looking to get more information, you can send us a message on the SoulFilled Sunday podcast, so you can message me directly, and I can see where you are and see if my class will be a good fit. So to pay some bills, let's give a big shout out to Javanda's Kitchen. And happy birthday to my buddy Breezy over there. If you are looking for some organic juices that do not have any additives, no preservatives, and 100% organic, please make your way over to Javanda's Kitchen LLC.com. She has green smoothies for meal replacement, power shots, detox, as well as just organic juices for your daily consumption. Uh, you can still get in on the buy one get one detox. Buy 1 week, get 1 week free. So you guys make sure that you go and support that and give some love to my people over there at Javanda's Kitchen. Next up, have you gotten your winter wear yet? No? Okay, I need you to go over and shop blackego.com. Right now, I believe yesterday at 3 o'clock, Leilani put up some new items that some nice little fits and jogger sets and warm sets for you ladies for the winter time. Please make sure that you get on over to shopblackego.com and have a little stroke for your ego, right? Gear that I'm wearing, make sure that you go check the comments, Top Notch Suede, get that gear up, and check out blacklifeapparel.com. And support these people out there. Also on Tuesdays and Saturdays, Are you liking On Blast Radio? Are y'all checking out these folks? Please make sure that you check out the Big Show and Lacey Doll on the Truth Tuesdays, as well as on Saturdays Uncensored with Mello. Y'all make sure y'all check out On Blast Radio. They're doing a damn thing. I'm so proud of y'all over there, leveling up. Keep doing it. We always supporting you over here at uh, SoulFilled Sunday, and they always supporting us. So we really appreciate that love. Up next, if you're in the LA area and you're looking for catering, please check out Rays of Sunshine Catering. They are doing Thanksgiving holiday meals. And let me tell you something, the girl can burn. If you're not wanting to cook this year, and again you're in Cali in the LA area, please make sure that you reach out to Rays of Sunshine Catering. She's been doing a lot of different pop-up shops, getting her name out there, so I'm gonna make sure I show that love as well. Y'all holler at my people in Cali. If you're having an event outside of California, still hit her up, Leisure LeRae, on Facebook, and make sure that you guys let her know what you're trying to do. Let's support our communities. Also, it's time to pick up a book, y'all. Make sure that you get Two Sides to the Rainbow, written by Unique Waterfall. Awesome author, great energy. The story is it's a four-part series. Currently, three of the four books are out, and you get the tale of both sides of the rainbow, being on the front aspect and being on the back aspect. Coming out stories. It's a beautiful story, not just from the feminine aspect, but from masculine characters as well. Once you get done with the Two Sides to the Rainbow series, make sure that you grab Method to My Madness. Still got some signed copies available. If you're interested, hit me up. Method to My Madness is a story about five different characters on their lives of success, dealing with portrayal with people that they thought was down with them. You know what I mean? So it's a great story. It's got sex. It's very entertaining. um, and if you have had it, I've already got people like, "Where's part two?" So we're gonna get it out to you very soon. Working on that to go ahead and get pre-orders ready for December. So please make sure that you grab Method to My Madness Part 1. And again, Part 2 will be released in January, and I'm excited about that. You know what? I'd be mad because I'd be umming, but also make sure that you go and check out the hookah hose, 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 right? Um, Hookah hose has all of your hookah needs, all of your tobacco needs and products. They provide all services as far as catering, delivery. If you're having an event and you need the smoke brought, please hit up the hookah hose and tell them that SoulFilled Sunday sent you. All right. Other than that, I think I have paid all my bills. Have I paid all my bills? No. And you know why I always forget the last one? Because you guys always forget. Have you had your mental health evaluated lately? If not, please go over to Goddess Child Services and have an evaluation done. We are actually looking to put together a package to do both a spirit and mental evaluation. Um, I don't know how many people we want to pull on, but I do want to do something for free, to let the people know that we are out here and we do want to make sure that you have access to mental health um, counseling, excuse me. I'm all over the place right now. And be able to have somebody to talk to. Don't be afraid. Don't think that, people are going to talk about you or anything like that. But if you have a lot of things on your mind, if you feel like you're depressed, don't self diagnose. Go over to Goddess Child Services. Have a conversation. If you get a free consultation, you never know what else you might get. Let's pull together and make sure that we're mentally ready for this next leg or this next journey that we're gonna get into. If you don't see a good fit with them, you will definitely get a recommendation, but it's time to get a foothold on where you are with your mental health. Okay, so it's very important. All right. Pretty sure I paid all my bills. Bills, bills, bills. Excuse me. All right. So with that being said, let's jump back into it. Let me ask my moderator where I was. What I left off on, good. Tell me something. Okay. So right. So with the aspect of again who and let me be clear. I don't have anything against these people. I am simply giving you information to decode and to research and to see how these things align on a higher plane in order for it to take place in this prism of light, or in this third dimensional realm, or within this reality. I gotta start kind of changing the way that I speak with some of this stuff. But um at the end of the day, I want to give you a breakdown on why it is so easy for a woman of color to be able to have one of the highest positions of power. You might ask yourself, well, why vice president and not president? Well, when you think of it, that's the two energy, right? Vice president is two. Okay, so that's still the feminine energy that's taking place there. Um, when you look at the aspect of even Joe Biden, he was vice president with the with Obama, which is that Leo energy, right? So you have Kamala that's coming in with the scales of justice. She's a Libra, right? Her birthday, I believe, is 10/20. And you have this ideal of the scales of justice, right? When you're looking at the scales of justice and you're looking at the name of what her name represents, again, you're getting the Kali energy, or the destroyer, or the divine presentation, the judgment, the moving of times. When we hear things like destroyer, or when we hear things like judgment, we take these in negative connotations, and that's not the case. This is about a ending of the old and ushering in the new, right? So with that being said, um it's now becoming a thing of her, since she's South Asian, which is basically, and I don't want to say it wrong, but like Indian in a sense, right? We know that her mother was Hindu, if I'm not mistaken, and she's a scientist and things like that. And around the time that she had transitioned from this world was a little bit before Kamala got married. We have to again keep the energy that Kamala has two stepchildren. This was her first marriage, and a lot of her relationships had been more so. I don't want to say affairs, but for the lack of a better word, they were more so affairs. You had this a council member that was like, oh, that was my girlfriend, and there was just a lot of stickiness with her personal life. And again, when you look into her natal chart, and I'm gonna pull it up in a second. If you want this, hit my inbox. I'll send you all this information. I'll send you the PowerPoints and everything. I didn't want to keep going back and forth, but we will do a full decoded. I think I'll go ahead and post it on YouTube. So it might be a couple of hours long, but you can always go back, listen, pause, and whatever. Um, so I'm gonna pause right there on that one. But I advise you to look into the information, and to look into um, the breakdown of individuals that we look at for leadership, not to demonize them, not to make it seem like you're on a different spectrum, but to understand why these things can take place, and take place on such a global level. Even when you look at the ideal of the coronavirus, and you break down the etymology of that, corona means crown, and virus is viral, or virtue, or virility. Okay, so this was about the battle of the crown. It's like it was the ultimate showdown for the crown. Okay, and with that, what it affected was respiratory. It affected what's known for communication. And to get to that next level again of that fifth dimension or that fifth understanding, or understanding from that four, or that heart balance. And again, why I say that is the four is very representative of feminine energy. And when you look at even the Black Madonna and Sun, there's a very infamous picture, to where there's the son is holding a drum, and the drum has always been representative of the mother's heart, and he's pointing to her throat, right? So this is an obvious sign and symbol of divine femininity and the coming of new communication, or the coming of new gods and the ending of the old. And of course, you have the solar discus, which is representative of the light and the dark. And again, I got this stuff in PowerPoints. I gotta figure out how to do it on live where I can actually like show you guys this stuff, but it'll be in a YouTube video where I'll actually be able to put the slides up and everything, and I'll just have my wife be my director while I'm talking. She get, oh, let me put this up. But with that being said, I would definitely look into, um I got you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And again, y'all, I appreciate everybody. Let me go back. Everybody that came on and gave some natural remedies. If you know me, I'm not I don't like hospitals. I don't, and not to say that they're not useful, but I've always been a natural remedy type person. I don't like medications. And I appreciate all my Facebook friends that came on and gave us so many different options. We were able to get a lot of things done, and now we're at the point of really just getting the wound to close up. So eventually she's gonna have to let me put some Himalayan on there. But I appreciate you all coming with that light and that love and that healing vibe. Like, we definitely be feeling it, and I appreciate that. So with that, hold on, let me ask my moderator. Uh, where was I at, mommy? Yeah, facts. So if you would like to join the kinetic level up ciphers, I'm at this point accepting new students, I guess I'll have to say it like that, or people that are ready to look at consciousness from another way, to get some more in-depth understanding of where we are and going even higher in your spiritual journey. um, we start off with levels of consciousness. We go into alchemy, metaphysics, as well as a lot of decoding, and a lot of breakdown of words, vocabulary. It's like school. So if you're not interested in learning on that level and really getting down into it, that's okay. That's why YouTube exists, right? So that we can put this information out there. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of people that want this information, and they want to, how do I decode? How do I look at numbers? How do I find this information? Where do I start? And first, that's starting with self. You got to decode yourself before you can decode anything else. So I do want to be able to have a full presentation of this. This is why I said it's part one, because I knew within this show I wasn't going to be able to fully go into detail, especially not getting cut off, with this energy. But I'll definitely be making sure that it gets posted. We'll have a video. We'll post it on the SoulFilled Sunday, where I'm going into all the esoteric and exoteric information that we're constantly seeing, and how we're going to see more of it. Again, you can see my dates. I did this at the beginning of the year, just to show what was going to happen and how we were going to see an ushering of divine femininity, how we were going to see a shift in power, and the death of an old king and the rising of a new king. And you have to understand, the king is the Khan, right? So also something that we can delve deeper into. Again, if you are interested in becoming a part of the Kinetic Concepts Level Up program, it is 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 2 days out of the week. We do make sure that it's after work hours. Yes, you do have to be present. Once you miss two ciphers, you are no longer a part of that specific session. You're more than welcome to join the next one. But because we do affirming and we do a lot of different programs that where that time cannot be broken and it has to be consistent. This is why I say only I'd rather people that are really serious about getting to the next level. We do prosperity affirmations, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and things like that. So, physically as well. So if you are ready to level up, once again, please hit my inbox or hit the SoulFilled Sunday podcast inbox. I will send you a light questionnaire just to see where you are currently and if we're able to provide the information that you need. I always keep the classes very small because I want it to be intimate, and by small I mean like 4 to 5 people. This time I'm willing to expand maybe to 6 to 10. But I still have to be able to get a feel for every individual. But again, if you're interested, let me know. And we're gonna get it popping. I think I already got 3 slots filled from some people that took the ciphers previously. So it's exciting. And we also do mental health evaluation. So look, you'll get mental health. Hey, some mental health evaluations for free in this 6 week program. I'm sure they can drop some comments and let you know how well it's been, or if they wouldn't recommend it. I'm sure they would. But other than that, I am gonna wrap it up because talking for like 40 something an hour straight, yes, I do it, but good grief. I feel like I have definitely put a lot of information out there. I feel like there's a lot of questions that are going to be asked, and without me going deeper or further into this information without offering a full breakdown of those things that I've already said, would serve you no justice. So just keep watch for the YouTube video. Again, it'll be, if it's not up tonight, it'll definitely be up tomorrow. Um, where you can actually see this information. I have pictures that I've gathered over time that correlate, and how you'll see the dynamics and how everything is just interwoven. But I'm excited that I was able to come before you guys and uh, dish out this information on the rise of the divine feminine, break down a little bit of Kamala on a spiritual aspect or an esoteric aspect of how we're able to linger in this light. Please feel free to contact me or her directly to get into the level up program. Um, without further ado, again, I'm gonna call it for the night. Thank you all again for watching, and wholeness, balance, love, light. And I don't have nobody to ask how I turn this thing off. See.